In this video I'll be discussing Fusion, and at the end of this you should have a basic understanding of what it is and how it works. This will also be a part 1 to a 3-part series on Fusion within DaVinci Resolve. Let's jump right into Fusion. Let me clear out these nodes below and we can just start over. It may look daunting at first, but believe me, after this video you'll be excited in creating your own unique style within Fusion. So now that we're in our Fusion tab below, let's go to our top left in DaVinci and grab our media from the media pool. Drag it onto our nodes and you'll have the media in and media out. We'll just drag this yellow line to the right to create our first node. Now if we click our edit tab below, you'll notice two windows, a preview on the left and the edited footage on the right. Now Fusion doesn't work that way. In Fusion you have two screens, but they act the same way. Let's go ahead and use an easy effect like a blur, which is going to be in our tooltip, and we'll bring it down with using our left mouse key and grabbing it and pulling it down. Okay, so our blur node will look like a teardrop. It's going to be in our tooltip, so we'll grab it with our left mouse click and bring it down onto our portfolio. Now there's going to be a yellow and blue line. Blue line will delete the line to connect the nodes, but we'll need the yellow line which connects the input and the output. Once again, blue will remove the line. Here we're going to use the input and output to connect it to our blur node. So I'm not seeing my effect. Well, that's because we need to direct our attention over to the right hand control panel called Inspector and use a slider to give it the effect we want. And if we go into our edit page, you'll also see the image is now blurred. Alright, let's go back into Fusion. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab a text node, which is in our menu bar, and blur this text. So how is DaVinci going to do that? Well, we're going to need a merge node, and there it is. We'll just grab it, pull it down, and now we have a couple of nodes here. Here we're telling DaVinci, do your thing, merge these two nodes, blur, and add text. But wait a minute, I don't see any text. Well, that's because we haven't told DaVinci what we wanted to do with this node. Nodes are not layers like an After Effects. We need to give instructions to connect them in order to work. So let's grab this blur node, get rid of it with the blue line, connect it with the yellow line to our merge, connect the output to media out, and we need our text within our merge. So now we have text, and we need to go to our top right inspector to make our additional changes. By using the slider to control the size, we can control the line spacing, top to bottom. We can change the color to whatever color we'd like. I'm going to leave it at yellow. Actually, I'm going to go make it white. And I've called this sunset. It could be a sunrise, but either or. And I'll make my adjustments below in our instructions. And once again, if you go into the edit tab, you'll see that sunset is there with our blurred image. Continue, I want to go further and add a background node. I want to blur my image to be behind this background. We have a background, blur, and text. Once again, we need a merge node to connect these nodes together. Now here's a shortcut. We could have just taken it from our node above, but I'm just going to drag it onto our unblur, and that'll create another merge called merge 2. Okay, so now we have a background node and it's just black. Why? That's because we need to go into our top right inspector and we need to change the color. In this case, I'm just going to adjust the sliders, and the one I'm going to use is the alpha slider, basically to make it transparent. Okay, so I just need one more node. We're close to the finish line, I promise you. I'm going to bring down this rectangle node, which I'll use as my masking node. Now, a masking node is used because I'm going to be telling DaVinci something that will affect everything within that node. This is what really separates DaVinci from other programs. are these masking nodes, which come with a keyframe. Here I can adjust the green rectangle, which is what appears, and I make my adjustments on the tooltip on the right, up and down, left to right, or to fine tune this rectangle masking node. I really like using the soft edge slider that gives it a nice effect. You can move it by using this tooltip from up and down, left and right, so you can place it where you like. And then once you're done here, we'll just go back into our portfolio below. We're just going to make a few more adjustments here, and then we'll look at the portfolio below and see what instructions we've put together. So we're telling DaVinci, blur everything in this rectangle mask, but keep the text the way it is. But we're going to go even further. We're going to give it an animation. And that animation is to make our sunset disappear. When I say sunset, I mean the text, not the actual picture. And that's going to be controlled in our inspector by using the sliders here, and that is controlled by this green rectangle. I don't want it to go left to right, I actually want it to go top to bottom. And here we're going to add our first keyframe, which is this orange diamond. I'm going to place this little red diamond onto our playhead to the left of our viewer, and this rectangle mask, as we see it, will be set up to a value which will change over time. It won't be very long, less than a couple of seconds, you'll see the animation. So I'm going to make a few more adjustments. We could play around with the playhead. The way the playhead works is that once you click on the space bar in the playhead, you'll see two lines. One is yellow and one is red. The red is the keyframe, the yellow are the playheads. Okay, so let's run this a few times by controlling it by the space bar. Let's see if I like this so far. It doesn't look quite right. This jagged, kind of abrupt change. I want to slow it down a little bit to give it more of a smooth transition. To see if that works any better. Ah, perfect. That is exactly what I was looking for. One last time, since I am a perfectionist, but that looks good to me right now. Now our last and final steps for this animation to work is to connect our rectangle node to our text node, and that's the final piece to our portfolio here. I'll go ahead and make a few adjustments so it looks pretty, but overall I've shown you the very first part in controlling and enhancing text animation within DaVinci Resolve. And if you go ahead and click back on the edit page, you'll see this beautiful effect, and you can make even more adjustments with this tooltip. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you in part 2 of this series of DaVinci Resolve Fusion.